Hey everyone, I'm Andy and welcome to another episode of Easy Tiki Drinks. Today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at a very classic Don the BEachcomber cocktail, the Cobra's Fang. Let's do this. So the Cobra's Fang is a classic Don the BEachcomber cocktail from around 1937. Why is it called the Cobra's Fang? It contains no venom, it has nothing to do with any form of a snake, so why call it that? Well, when Don first launched, well, it wasn't called Don back then, but when he opened Don the BEachcomber, he wanted to introduce the world to tiki drinks, which include a lot of syrups and fruit juices. And in turn, he was afraid that guys in particular wouldn't want to drink girly drinks. So he called them names like Cobra's Fang or Zombie to make them sound intimidating, which would make the guys be like, well, I can handle that drink, I'm a guy. So that's why it's called the Cobra's Fang, and that's why we see names like Zombie or Headhunter and other cocktail names like that. What makes the Cobra's Fang so special? Well, like I said, it was created in about 1937 and it's got a slew of ingredients. Then, later on down the road, the Tiki restaurant took the Cobra's Fang and simplified it. But regardless, it still contained one special ingredient. And that ingredient is known as Fassionola. If you've never heard of Fassionola before, it's completely understandable. A lot of people haven't. It's a very mysterious ingredient that Don brought from his home in New Orleans to California. For a long time, the recipe or what Fassionola was lost. Although, come to find out, the company that still makes it to this day, and you can actually buy the original recipe on eBay. What ended up happening was, because Tiki fell out of fashion, Fassionola fell out of fashion. That's a weird way to say that, but anyway. And because of that, nobody really looked into or cared or bothered to figure out what it was made from. That is until the early 2000s when Jeff Beach Bum Berry kind of decoded Fassionola and said, here's what it's made of. Basically, it's made of a slew of different fruits and passion fruit syrup, which is kind of that underlying backbone flavor that you get in it. Because of this, and because that's what people remembered about Fassionola, a lot of people simply take the recipe for a Cobra's Fang and sub the Fassionola for passion fruit syrup, which you can buy more readily available, which is fine. However, I feel like the Fassionola, which is very easy to make, and I will link down in the comments the recipe that I use, adds such a complexity to the drink that the passion fruit syrup alone does not. So anyway, let's take a look at what we're going to need to make this cocktail. It's super easy. First, we're going to need an Overproof Demerara Rum. Next up, we're going to need Fassionola, orange juice, and lime juice. The Overproof Demerara Rum that I'm using is Plantation OFTD. The Fassionola is homemade, and the orange juice and lime juice are fresh squeezed. This should be easy to clean up. So as you can see, 4 ingredients. That's it. The original had about 6 to 8, depending upon which recipe you look at. It had things like Angostura bitters and absinthe or Pernod. It would also contain another ingredient called falernum, which is hard to find, or you can make your own. But it only had a 1/4 ounce. And again, if you use Fassionola, I find that the falernum gets really lost. So why even include it? If I weren't to use Fassionola and I was going to go with a passion fruit syrup, I might tweak this, add maybe a dash of Angostura bitters to kind of help round out the tartness from the passion fruit syrup. But overall, I think it's still okay. But enough talk, let's get into this, let's build this thing. First, we're going to need 1/2 ounce of our lime juice. Half an ounce of our orange juice. Half an ounce of our Fassionola. And 1.5 ounces of our Overproof Demerara Rum. Next up, we're gonna add ice to our cocktail shaker. Give it a nice little whip shake for about 5 to 8 seconds. You've got a nice tall Collins glass or a zombie glass. You just gotta open pour right into it. For a garnish, we're gonna go with a mint sprig. Ooh. Mint's falling apart on me. And an orange wheel. There you have it, Cobra's Fang. Let's see how this tastes. Now remember, this does include 1.5 ounces of Overproof Demerara Rum. So even though it's called a Cobra's Fang to sound intimidating, it packs a punch. So just be warned. Slightly different than your typical Tiki cocktail. A lot of Tiki cocktails are very, very tart and acidic, which can, doesn't always settle with a lot of people. This actually tends to be on the sweeter side. You got 1/2 ounce of orange juice and that 1/2 ounce of Fassionola, which is only balanced slightly by that 1/2 ounce of lime juice, which isn't enough to overtake the sweetness. If you typically find Tiki drinks to be a little too tart, a little too acidic, definitely try a Cobra's Fang because it's definitely on the sweeter side of things. And honestly, I really love the orange wheel on this because as I'm sipping, I just get that whiff of orange, which really accentuates that orange. And that Overproof Demerara Rum, I highly recommend you use a good one, right? Like don't go for a 151 Puerto Rican rum. The Plantation OFTD, while it is a little bit less than like a Hamilton 151 or a Lemon Heart 151, it's a lower proof. I think it packs a better punch and it punches above its weight limit, to be honest. Like the flavor profile it has is extraordinary. However, if you can't get your hands on Plantation OFTD, Hamilton 151 works just as well. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at EasyTikiDrinks. Go have yourselves a Cobra's Fang, enjoy it, relax. I know I will, and until next time, take it easy.